It's here. It's finally here. After waiting for so long, at last we have Ace Combat 7. And it was released on PC? The time has come, and so have I. Ace Combat 7 is an action flight game by Bandai Namco and Project Aces. The series originally started in 1995 with the release of Air Combat for the PlayStation 1. It did well enough to deserve a sequel, titled Ace Combat 2 in 1997. There, a phenomenon was born. Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere was released in 1999, though the US release was butchered and had none of the story elements from the Japanese version. In 2001, Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies was released on the PlayStation 2. It is the best-selling Ace Combat game yet, clocking 2.6 million sales worldwide. This was my first taste of Ace Combat. My father was in the Navy and served on the USS Enterprise on board the flight deck. He told me stories of these amazing machines taking to the skies and described how much he loved it. At the ripe old age of 7, I had become enamored with aircraft, especially fighters, much like my father had. He rented Ace Combat 4 from Blockbuster for me one day, noticing the F-22 on the cover. I'll never forget how I felt when I played it for the first time. I was in love. We returned the rental and purchased the game from another store. When Ace Combat 5, The Unsung War came out 3 years later, he didn't hesitate and bought it immediately. Then Ace Combat Zero, The Balkan War hit the shelves, and it too was brought to me. When I got an Xbox 360 some years later, I was amazed to see Ace Combat 6 in the lineup. I even got a PSP to play AC6 and XI. Ace Combat is my favorite game series of all time. It means a great deal to me, and it's something I'm always eager to talk about. Now, here we are with Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, the latest entry in the series. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room for PC players. I was so upset to find that the game only supported 4 licensed flight sticks and had no support for ultrawide or 4K resolutions. I was mad, truly angry with Bandai Namco for this. But I decided to press on and try to enjoy the game for what it is. And what a game. Despite the technical hiccups for the PC version, AC7 is a beautifully rendered game that introduces some new mechanics to the gameplay. You play as Trigger, a young hotshot ace pilot with Mage Squadron. Erusea has decided it's time to ruin everyone's fun and begins invading Uzia, seizing the all-important space elevator. In the first mission, you're tasked with taking out some bombers that are getting too close for comfort. Taking to the skies is immediately a wonderful experience. The volumetric clouds, excellent lighting, environment, and model detail are a treat for the eyes. Not to mention the improved sound design, blowing me away with its immersive ambience. Maneuvering the planes feels great, tight, and responsive. Now you can perform a high G turn by slamming on the brakes and pitching up hard. You really start to feel like an ace pilot. The briefings are as wonderful as ever, laying out your mission clearly, concisely, and with great detail. Now, instead of buying aircraft from a store, you now have the aircraft tree that lets you progressively unlock items as you play. Another new mechanic introduced is the upgrade system, allowing you to add upgrade parts to your plane and improve nearly any aspect of the craft. As far as first impressions go, not bad. Once I got past the dumb technical issues, I was hooked to the game like I have been for all of the previous entries in the series. Let's go ahead and give a brief analysis of the major aspects of the game. The game is stunningly beautiful. Highly detailed models and textures bring the aircraft to life and make the environment feel real and believable. Contrails and condensation effects are fantastic, water vapor flowing over the leading edges of your wings during hard turns. Plus, flying through clouds coats the canopy in water droplets, much like in real flight. There isn't really a whole lot to say in this regard. The graphics speak for themselves.
Going for understood.
This is the AWACS Skykeeper.
Take down all unidentified bombers. They don't have many escorts. They hit our radars hard in the last attack. Expect the worst and stay sharp.
Wilco. Trigger, I'm your wingman. Fly with me now. That's what it means to be in an element.
Enemy bomber confirmed down. Good job, Mage 2.
Not bad, Mage 2.
Let's move on to the sound design. Music, once again composed by the amazing Keiki Kobayashi. A stellar soundtrack as always. As far as sound effects go, they're so very well done. Everything has punch to it, and with good enough audio setup, you can feel the rumble of your afterburners, the turbulence in a storm, and the anxiety that is a missile flying past you. The gameplay itself is fundamentally Ace Combat. If you've ever played one before, it'll feel instantly familiar. There are a few new mechanics to spice things up, however. First is your new high-G turn. By slamming on the brakes and pitching up hard, your plane turns much more quickly than in previous games. Similarly, some aircraft have the ability to perform post-stall maneuvers. While in reality they are strictly for show, in AC-7 they can be used to flip on a dime and deliver some missiles right up your target's tail. You also have the new aircraft tree and parts system, where you progressively unlock new planes and upgrades as you go. The money you earn carries over between the campaign and the multiplayer, which is a touch I appreciate. Speaking of which, the multiplayer is fantastic. Pitted against other players in either a team deathmatch format or a free-for-all, you can really strut your stuff here. The lack of a proper chat is a little disappointing, but not enough to detract from the game. I'm not going to touch on the story much, because I don't want to give anything away. It is absolutely Ace Combat, though. Super weapons, warring countries, and top aces give you plenty to absorb over the 20 missions. To summarize, the game is fantastic, though let down slightly by its technical limitations in the PC port. You'll notice, though, that I'm playing in 21:9, thanks to a fix created by frustrated players. I'll include links in the description for you to check it out yourself. I've already completed the game. It's a quintessentially Ace Combat experience and one that I highly recommend. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get more of my content in the future.